Sunday, October 29th is World Stroke Day. And here's a sobering statistic. 1 in 4 people in their lifetime will have a stroke, and the numbers are rising in young people as well. So what are the unforeseen and potential future costs for medical treatments and care? We're going to break this all down for you right now on UBS Trending. Hi, everyone, and welcome to UBS Trending. I'm Anthony Pastore. There is a stigma that surrounds strokes, and certainly there is a lot of confusion. Certainly, I always have a lot of questions in this topic area. So today, we are so fortunate to have a young survivor shine a little bit of light on how to navigate and create a new life after stroke. Maddie Niebank is joining us here in the studio. We're also joined by my friend and colleague, Ainsley Carbone, from our Chief Investment Office. It's so nice to have you. Maddie, welcome to the studio. It's great to have you here.
Thank you, Anthony. Thank you, Ainsley. So happy to be here. As you mentioned, I am a young stroke survivor. I had a stroke a little over 6 years ago, right after I graduated from college. Basically, I had this malformation in my brain which burst when I was in the hospital awaiting a scheduled brain surgery. I'd been having migraines for a long time, found out I had this malformation after a brain scan, and then decided I was going to move forward with a brain surgery after college. Unfortunately, the preoperative procedure caused a blood clot in my brain which burst, so I ended up having a massive stroke. I'm rushed into the emergency room. The neurosurgeon tells my parents, the situation looks grim. I don't know if she's gonna make it, but I'm gonna try my best. So everyone was freaking out. Fortunately, I did make it out alive. I was just completely paralyzed on the left side of my body. Face, I couldn't speak, I couldn't swallow, my arm, my leg, so I had to begin a very long period of rehabilitation.
Wow, hearing your story, I mean, I knew it before you walked in the door, but hearing it, you tell it, it is incredibly terrifying, but also amazing to see you sitting here and now talking to other folks and talking about how you built a new life. So, I think in this case, you could either have become a victim or you could have said, you know what, I'm going to make the best of a really bad situation and get on my feet and start my life again. And it's so amazing to see how much you have done to do that. So thanks for sharing that story with us.
Yeah, I think it's so important for me after having had this stroke. I didn't want to be a victim. I really desperately wanted to become independent again. I wanted to be able to travel, work. I wanted to be able to, pursue my passions and everything. So I was very motivated by that to get back on my feet.
And you're an author, and you just moved to a new apartment on the Upper West Side. I mean, you've got a lot going on for you. So congratulations, Maddie. It's a very inspiring story to hear. And of course, I have other friends and colleagues who have also been through various medical issues. Some have had strokes, and obviously everybody's story is different, but it's so nice to have you sitting here sharing that story with us. So thank you. So Ainsley, the reason why we wanted to have you in this conversation is because as a retirement strategist, you cover a lot of areas when it comes to wealth and what, our clients or our, colleagues how they can use their money. But we talk a lot about disability insurance and other types of ways to protect families medically. So Social Security is something that I know can be used at any age if you have some kind of disability. What should people know here?
So Social Security disability insurance is definitely available to most people. It's only something that you're eligible for if you've worked a certain amount of time, and it has to be time that you've worked recently. And so there are some qualifications that I have to mention up front. Mm-hmm. Also, it's really important to keep in mind that Social Security disability insurance is really probably most likely just one piece of the puzzle for most people when it comes to thinking about how to protect themselves from a disability event. And the reason for that is because, one, it does not cover a whole lot of the income that you had while you were working. Two, it's something that's only going to be that you'll only be eligible for if you are disabled for a year or longer. So you might want to have something that's going to cover you for that period of time up to that year. And then also, the definition of disability is very strict. So I'm not sure if this is something that you can speak to, but a lot of people, the feedback is essentially, the definition of disability is not very generous, and it's essentially something that you'll only be able to get paid out on if you are not able to complete any job, not just necessarily your own job.
Right. And by the way, I would recommend anybody, if this is something that is of interest to you or if you need information, go to the Social Security website. There's a ton of information there on what they qualify as a disability, what it means. There's all these programs that are also available, which I know Ainsley will mention to us. But Maddie, I wanted to get back to you, but before I did that, there are a couple of statistics from the CDC, if you don't mind me kind of mentioning. We mentioned that about 1 in 4 people will have a stroke in their lifetime. Something else that was really staggering that I think fits into this conversation, stroke-related costs in the U.S. came to nearly $56.5 billion between 2018 and 2019, and they say that includes healthcare, medicines to treat it, and missed days of work. So it's a massive issue, a medical issue that affects millions and millions of families and people. How did you take the adversity of what you did and sort of create a new perspective? Because I look at you today, and like I said in the beginning, it's something that could have taken you down, or you could have been, you know what, I'm gonna, as you said, build a life for myself. So you probably have developed a brand new perspective on what life is like now for you after surviving something like you went through.
Yeah, no, that's a big question. But basically, the way that I can address this is right after the stroke, I had a conversation with one of my favorite college professors. I just graduated from college, so I hadn't started working full time yet, and then the stroke happens. So I was connecting with one of my college professors from Georgetown, and he said, Maddie, I was telling him I felt left out, like a sense of fear of missing out from not doing what everyone else was doing. And he said, Maddie, take this time that you're not working full time to dive deep into your interests, take inventory of what you would like to do with your life, and just really take the time to figure it out. I settled on fashion. I'd always wanted to be in the fashion industry, but I didn't have any work experience in it. So I thought in my head, who would ever hire me? I've never worked in fashion, this is just nonsense. This is a pipe dream. So I started talking to people. I started cold calling, connecting with friends, people in the industry, everyone from editors of magazines to models to small business owners to fashion executives. And I just started having conversations and learning about the industry, and eventually ended up writing that up into my book. But that was really what motivated me. I wanted to break into a new industry. I didn't want to settle. I wanted more for myself. So I was motivated to get back out there, and it turned into a book.
That's really cool. I think a lot of folks, me included, I went right from college, I went right to work. I luckily happened to land on a job that I really enjoy, and I get to work with great colleagues like Ainsley, but a lot of people just kind of go into it, and they never stop for a second to think, what do I really want to do with my life? And, unfortunately, you had to go what you went through, but then you turned it around and said, you know what, I don't want to do the original plan. I've got other interests. I think that's really, really cool. And congratulations on finding the niche and the place that you want to live in. It's
honestly,
great.
I probably never would have done that if this didn't happen. I would have just jumped into a career. Probably I wouldn't have liked it. And, who knows?
You'd be living for the weekends like everybody else, right? So as we're wrapping up, I just wanted to kind of maybe pose a little bit of a question. I know, Ainsley, I sort of teased a little bit that there are some options for folks who want to get back out there after their, the main part of their recovery, where they feel physically able to or mentally able to get into a work situation. What do those look like?
Well, first of all, I'll say it's really important to keep in mind that as you're thinking about going back to work, as soon as you go back to work, depending on the type of policy you have, especially if you're covered by Social Security disability insurance, you want to be aware of at what point will my disability insurance benefits stop, and when will my other benefits such as healthcare costs stop or healthcare coverage stop. Once you figure that out, then you can think about how you're getting back into the workforce. Social Security Administration does have a program called the Ticket to Work program, so it might be something for you to consider if you're just looking to kind of start getting your foot in the door. It's a great way to do that without shutting off your Social Security disability insurance. But obviously there are a lot of things that you'll want to consider. I think one thing that you may be able to speak to is the fact that the options that are available for you to work in that program just might not be something that you want to work in, like how you had with you were very unique, I think, in picking that.
Right, yeah, no, it definitely is a bit more limiting, but it depends on what you want, obviously, so.
Right.
good to know that there are options out there.
Yeah, and just for for someone who's just kind of ready to get their feet wet yet again and try to get back into some type of regular work schedule or part-time work schedule, I think it's a great option.
Perfect.
And for you, Maddie, I mean, what's great is that you are living your best life today and working full time and wrote 2 books. How did you just do that, and what did you do financially for yourself to kind of stay or get on your feet in the first place?
So if my dad ever sees this, he's gonna love it. But he always taught me when I was younger to pay myself first. And I can't believe I'm saying that.
By the way, that's great advice. I'm sure Ainsley would give that advice to
But
anybody.
yeah, pay yourself first. So every time when I first started working like random part-time jobs after the stroke, it was the same thing. I would pay myself first, save X amount of money, and build up a little savings that way, so that when I did move out and needed more money and started traveling again, I would have that. So pay yourself first.
I love that's great advice. That's going to be the tagline for today's program. So,
Oh my gosh.
Maddie, thank you so much. First of all, just for sharing your story, for coming here today and showing that there is life after stroke. And I know there's a lot of programs and information online, but thanks for sharing what you shared with us. And Ainsley, always great to hear from you. And there are options for folks who, are worried about the financial ramifications of any medical issue, especially those that, affect you in a way like yours did, Maddie, like a stroke. But at least there are some options, and thanks for sharing those with us. Good to have you both. Maddie,
Thank
I hope we
you.
see you soon.
Yes,
And
thank
good
you
luck
so
living
much.
on the Upper West Side. It's a great neighborhood. Good restaurants up there.
All right.
See you
Thank
soon.
you.
Thank you. And thank you all for joining us. For more information on anything out of UBS, particularly our Chief Investment Office, visit our Insights website at ubs.com/views. And don't forget to follow us on all the social media platforms, particularly our Instagram channel, UBS Trending, at UBS Trending. You're going to find content there that you don't get anywhere else. Plus, we're on all the other channels like LinkedIn, Facebook, and X. And if you have any questions, make sure you are talking to your financial advisor. Until next time, I'm Anthony Pastore. Have a great day, everybody. And remember to keep your eyes on what's trending. We'll see you soon.